If you ever thought about owning your own auto detailing business, in today's video, we're going to be interviewing the owner of Pristine Auto Detailing. He's going to share with us how he started and how much money he makes. So make sure you guys stick around, watch till the end, and let's get right to the video. Why don't you introduce yourself, like your name and age?
My name's Keeler. I've been here, Santa Rosa, for detailing for about 12 years, and I am 56 years old.
And what type of services do you guys offer?
So here, I mean, typically we do standard detailing. So we're going to do your regular things like hand wash, washing, and waxing, which would be more of a synthetic sealant we're going to apply, not a regular carnauba wax or anything, a little bit more durable. We do standard detailings where we do the interiors of cars, shampooing, cleaning seats, door panels, console, all your traditional detailing, but we do mainly focus on polishing paint, restoring paint, and ceramic coatings.
Oh, nice. How did you get started in detailing?
I didn't have a lot of experience in detailing, so about 12 years ago, I had sold a business and took a year off. Literally, I'd driven by this place and it had been vacant and it had different blue storefront here with glass panels in it, and it had been for lease for about a year. So I was just like, wow, that could be a good auto detail shop. So I'd done detailing as a kid and cleaning my own cars and stuff like that. It was something I just got into. Did some training courses, learned from the new employees that I hired, and then a lot of it, like literally going on videos, seeing different ways people polish and things like that, YouTube and all that stuff, and kind of a lot of it self-taught.
Yeah, so why don't you show us, like, what do you guys got going on right here?
This particular car, the customer came to us last week, and he is going to go to the Tribute to American Graffiti down in Petaluma.
Oh, wow.
And he has multiple cars. He just bought this car, I believe. And he wanted to clean it up. He might be selling it down at the car show, but he wants to put it up at the car show. So he just gave me a number to work with and said, you know, do what you can for that amount of money to make it presentable so that he could sell it at the show.
And what about that car over there? What do you guys got going on?
So over here, we kind of break our shop down into, you know, bay 1, bay 2, bay 3, and over there we kind of have a staging area and a wash pad. But bay 1, most of the time is just doing your typical detailing. So this particular car, like, obviously there's scratches on the door. We're not fixing that. It's not what he wants on this particular vehicle. We're going to be doing a hand wash. We're obviously going to clean the inner wheel wells and get rid of dirt and things like that. We're going to dress the tires. And then main thing on this will be the full inside. So your door panels, your console, your dashboard, shampooing the seats, cleaning the floor mats, cleaning the carpets. So this would just be your traditional detail. And we typically will do like 2 to 3 of those in this bay per day, and then the rest of it will all be polishing and ceramic.
Really? What about this one? This is more.
We typically we've got more lights over there, so we can see what we're doing a little bit better. We've got like 20 LEDs in each bay, or maybe 16 there, 20 here. It just helps us so that we can see scratches and things like that. So we've set this one up more that we can work on paint on the exteriors of cars.
Your budget starting, like for someone that wants to like start their detailing business, like what kind of budget did you have?
Well, I was optimistic. I thought I was being optimistic, and I mean I had some savings and things like that, so it wasn't like I was starting with like just nothing. But I took on a bigger shop than I probably needed at the beginning, although now it seems like our shop sometimes is too small. But I basically, just to get into the business and buy a desk and buy a computer and some polishers, and before you know it, I had a $50,000 budget.
Oh, really?
And before opening the doors, I was like 32,000 in. just on the basic necessities. I mean, when you start adding it up, you know, a rent deposit,
all that,
a bunch of polishers, some polish, and all of that stuff. I was 32,000 in just extractors and vacuums and things like that, just the basic necessities to get going.
Yeah. So. And did you start with employees, or was it just you? Or
it was myself, and because of my lack of experience, I started off, and again, it was probably I'd say a little bit of a being over ambitious at the beginning. I had more staff than I needed, so I had 2 trained staff that had detailed somewhere else. Okay. And I basically, through working with them as well, I was able to learn a lot of how some of their detailing skills.
Cool. Yeah. So like you learn from them.
I learned from them. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, I've always ran businesses, so you know, that was my original thought. Is I was going to put a sign up. Like seriously, I was going to put a sign up on the street, auto detailing,
like,
and people would come and I have these detailers and I'm going to manage the business. But it ended up being more I had to learn the business and learn all of the things and do a lot of the work myself at the beginning, 6-7 days a week, and then rebuild by adding staff the way and training them the way I wanted them to be trained.
Yeah. Did you feel like you weren't like qualified to do the jobs? Or?
It's just like anything else. It's like now you know, 12 years in, I don't know how many thousands of customers, you know, you feel comfortable with that interaction. But with anything new, you know, it's the first time and you're selling something and you know, maybe you're not 100% confident that you're going to be the best at it. And then as you get more and more experience, you become a lot more comfortable with what you're doing and what you're selling because you know you can do the job that's expected.
Do you have like different packages for like your customers, or how do you price them?
So we break our pricing down into 4 categories of cars. So we basically call them tiny, and tiny is going to be like your 2-seater Miata. Obviously, it doesn't have a back seat, so you're only cleaning 2 seats. The interior area is smaller. Sometimes they're convertible, sometimes hardtop. But if it's convertible and you're polishing it, for instance, you're not even polishing the roof. So we call it tiny. Very few cars fit into that category. And then your small sedans, 2-door, 4-door, it doesn't matter if they have a front and a back seat. It's considered a sedan. And in the small category, we have the small SUVs, which can be your Highlanders, maybe your 4Runners and things like that. And Subaru Outbacks would fall into that category. And then we have the large, and your large is going to be your Cadillac Escalades, your Suburbans, your Tahoes, and then Sprinter vans would even be looked at as oversized. So in that case, we have 5 categories, and then with the 5 categories, we have like 6 different levels of detailing. So we have like a wash and wax, a mini detail, a wash wax, and an express inside, wash wax, full inside, and then we get into polishing and ceramics. This was the first C8 Corvette that we did, and the customer on that, he went with the highest level coating we have, which was a 3-layer, 9-year G Techniques coating.
How much does that go for when you guys do that type of work?
That particular car was about, we coated it a couple years ago. I want to say at the top of my head, it was about $2,800.
Really?
And
that's awesome.
It actually ended up taking us longer than I expected. It was new. It had 100 miles on it when 7 miles when he bought it, 107 miles or something like that when he brought it to us. But it had been in the showroom, and just through the wiping it down, it had a lot of scratches, and it's black. So we spent more time polishing it than what I would have expected. So the prep on that car was, you know, a good 20 hours before we actually started the coating process. The thing is, you know, I'm in AA recovery. I actually secretary a meeting with about 100 people, and by having to do that has gotten me over my fear. In high school, I had to make a 2-minute presentation one time in English 10, and they went around the class and it was getting close to me, and I raised my hand, hey, I need to go to the restroom, and I never went back to that class.
Really?
I was so afraid to talk in public. I was like, and somehow I got into English 11. I think the teacher was just done with me and gave me a pass or something. I don't even know how I got out of that class, but
wow.
I was able to advance to English 11, but I never went back. I used to be terrified to speak in front of people.
You said an AA?
Yeah.
Really? Recovering?
Yeah.
Wow. For how long?
5 years right now. I've been doing that. To me, to focus on my business, and I'm pretty open with it. I end up with a lot of customers and stuff like that come in and they're from a program as well.
Nice.
And to be focused and not be up till 2 a.m., to be going to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, getting a good night's sleep, not having anxiety and being tired and stuff like that, it just gives me a better way of life. I mean, I'm more focused, I'm less jittery, I'm just all around in general a lot more solid, and I am more energetic as well. So I just think that it's a better way of life than had a lot of fun for a lot of years, and now I just choose to fun's over, just work is fun, and tracking my car on the weekend is fun, and I do that with a lot of sober friends of mine as well. So it's just kind of it's my lifestyle now. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Someone that's going through the same thing that you went through,
right?
What advice would you give them?
Well, I mean, I think people that struggle with any type of addiction or whatever like that, it's obviously dealing with that and focusing on not having that be part of your life. It just gives you a better life. Like I said, you just feel better on a daily basis, and by feeling better and consistent, you find that you don't go through the roller coasters of like sometimes you might be all excited and you're on this big thing, I'm going to do this, and then emotionally you might come down to where you don't feel so good and you're not so positive, and then you're just like in a lull, and then you get all inspired and you come back up, and for the people that work around you as well, they're going to be like, they don't know when they come in if you're going to be like up here or down here on that day. And so by just doing the same thing every day, like I said, just getting proper rest, exercise, all that stuff, and being consistent, I think the people that you work with, they just learn to trust you more because you're always the same person on a day-by-day basis. So
that's awesome. That's good advice. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So I know you mentioned that when you were younger, you wanted a cabin, you wanted like all these nice things, right?
Right.
And you said that now you don't do it for the money. You do it because you enjoy the relationships, you enjoy the cars.
Right.
So, but can you share with us like what's a good week for you, like in terms of how much you make in your business?
So for us, I mean, obviously you go down through, if with auto detailing, I mean, we're lucky that we have a shop. I don't know how mobile detailers even do it sometimes in the winter time, it's like you're not going to be doing car wash and wax out in somebody's driveway. So I mean, we're blessed by the fact that we do have a roof over our heads, and we can do interiors, and you're doing the minivans, you're doing the Civics, you're doing the pet hair cars and stuff like that, so you can sustain your business through the winter. In the summer, I mean, we can be doing $15,000 a week in revenue, and that's based on the fact that you're doing 3 or 4 really nice high dollar long-term jobs where you might be 20 hours, 16 hours, 32 hours on these vehicles, and able to charge for that and have 2 guys focused on doing that kind of work. And so if we were doing in the middle of the summer, if we're doing $15,000 a week, I mean, that's a $60,000 a month, and that is more than enough to pay for everybody as well as pay for the rent and stuff like that.
That's like a good week. 15,
yeah, 15,000 would be. I'd be real happy with that if we're doing that. So
that's awesome. Yeah. All right. So any final thoughts? Any advice for anyone that wants to start their own detailing business?
Well, one of the biggest thing I've had some people not even just so much with detailing business. Like I was lucky that I had I started saving for my retirement when I was in my early 20s, and I would maxed out how much money I could put in. So I had a pretty good nest egg and stuff like that to to fall back on when times were a little bit tight at the beginning.
Right.
But I've had some other people ask me whether it's starting up a hair salon or starting up this, is, you know, sit down, put the numbers down on paper. Numbers don't lie. You can lie to yourself in your head that you're going to do this, you're going to do that, but if you put your costs down, and then if you think it's going to take you 3 months to get rolling, plan on 6. If you think it's going to take you 6 months to get rolling, plan on a year, because it's probably going to take you twice as long for everything to fall in place as what you originally think. At least that was my experience. And I mean, I've heard of some people, you know, like obviously I was just talking to a guy at the racetrack that makes greenhouses. Well, he started that business, and then indoor marijuana farming came online, and his business just skyrockets. Yeah. So I mean, some people are going to have that where boom, all of a sudden the stars line up.
Yeah.
But I would anticipate the worst and hope, you know, and maybe the best will come, as opposed to anticipating the best and then running out of funds and being in a bad position.
Right. All right. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Keith.
All right.
I truly appreciate everything you share with us. I'm inspired. I know people watching, they're inspired by your story.
All right.
By what you've done with this business, and thank you so much.
Thank you for your time coming out.
All right, there you guys have it. Honestly, I'm inspired by this interview. Keith was very honest with us. He was very transparent, and he's honestly one of the coolest guys I've met. He really shared with us a lot of wisdom, and I know you guys are inspired as well. So make sure you guys, if you made it to the end of the video, make sure you guys like, make sure you guys subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.